Good morning, everyone, and Merry Early Christmas. We are, well, 2 or 3 days out, however you want to look at it, from Christmas. We used to celebrate Christmas Eve more than Christmas. The German roots of my family. We tend to celebrate more on Christmas Eve than we do Christmas, but Merry early Christmas to everyone. And today is Casing Tuesday. And I wanted to make a little note for everyone that follows Casing Tuesday. Next Tuesday, I will have my dear son with me. We're going to do one of our lives together. I rope him into it. He's only here he's leaving at the beginning of January, so I always have fun creating with him. So he's promised that next Tuesday we will do a Casing Tuesday together. So if you have watched one of those before and you want to join us, I will be on my business page at 10 a.m. on next Tuesday, which I think it's the 29th. Yeah. Anyway, we will be live together then. And today, as you know, is Casing Tuesday, and that's when we take a card out of the catalog and we give it a makeover. This is a great exercise to do if you're an advanced stamper because it gets us out of our comfort zone, or if you're a beginner stamper, it gives you a starting point, which is so important when you start off. Like sometimes we don't even know where to start. So having the catalog in front of us with all the samples, you can look at those and you can use them to plug in other stamp sets and other papers and things like that. It's a really great way to look at cards, and it will help you start to design some of them on your own if you're a beginner. So use that catalog as a resource. And so that's why we pick a card out of the catalog each week. And we have a Facebook group for that. So if you would like to join us on our Facebook group, just look down below in the description of this video and you will find the link to join that. And I have Lori, who does all of our approvals for our group, and she does that like once or twice a week. Goes in. We have it's a large group, and it keeps growing, but it's not so large that you won't feel welcome. And we also post our cards, so you can post your card there that you've done based on the sketch. So it's quite fun. Good morning, Betty. Oh, do you like my Santa hat? Yeah, I thought I would be a little bit festive today because this is my last live before Christmas. And I'm also doing a Christmas card today, which I thought I wouldn't be doing any more Christmas cards, but I just had to do a Christmas card because it's the week of Christmas, and to do a birthday card, I just kind of felt was a little out of season, even though I've been doing birthday cards for the most of the month. So good morning, Amy, and good morning, Beverly. Thanks for joining me this morning. Well, let me show you the card that we are casing today. It is here. So this is an interesting card, and I hope it's not a card that's hard, because that big white focal point in the front, you can stamp a greeting or a picture, an image, and then you can just find either some designer Sears paper or some paper strips to put behind it. It's not a hard card. It may look like it on first appearance, but it's not. I can't wait to see what everyone comes up with. Here is our sketch. So this gives you the measurements that you can use, and of course you can make some little changes along the way if you feel like you need to tweak things based on your size of focal point and stuff. And I actually did tweak mine a little bit, but it's just great to have a starting point. All right, and good morning, Janine. All right, let's switch over to my other camera. Let's see how that goes. All right, here's my card. Isn't this not me? It is. That's what I like about the sketch, because it kind of got me out of my comfort zone. Look at these little paper strips. I embossed them in the back, and then I put Merry Christmas on the front, and I splashed ink all over the front of my focal point. Isn't that cool? I'm going to show you how I do that. So let's talk about a couple things. These are the Word Wishes dies. These are great. It covers a lot of your holidays. We've got Easter, Halloween, St. Patrick's Day. I think this is Thanksgiving. Geez, yes, Thanksgiving. I think this is Valentine's Day. Valentine's. So it's got a lot of different holidays. So just think about this card and how you could plug in a different holiday into this greeting. Just use paper that matches the holiday or colors that match the holiday. And if you want, you can splash whatever color ink you want over top. So this is a versatile card if you're using word wishes. Or you could stamp a big greeting on the front. But I think this card has like a really bold impact, and I love that about it. So I used the greenery embossing folder because you know what I did, which was kind of silly. I already put away all my holiday catalog products because I thought I wasn't going to make any more Christmas cards. So these are products that are in the annual catalog. So this was also a supply challenge for me. So I didn't have any Christmas paper out. So I just used the colors. In the original card, some of the same colors were used, but I added the bumblebee because here's one thing that is hard sometimes. This strip before in the original card was a white strip, and so sometimes that competes with the focal point because it's also a light colored or if it's the same color, it's going to draw the eye into that. So just by changing it and making it a little darker, like into a yellow, now my focal point really pops. But nothing wrong with putting one white strip of that size, but that's why I changed it out, because I like to have a really clear focal point in there. All right. So yeah, this I used the greenery embossing folder for the strips. So it just kind of made some little texture in the background, so it wasn't so plain. So let's get started on my card, and let's work on the focal point layer first, because I think that's kind of the hardest part of this card. So I've got a piece of Whisper White here, and this is 3 3/4 by 2 1/4. I earlier cut out my Merry and Christmas out of real red using these dies. And I'm going to just grab my Tombow, and I'm going to splash ink over my Merry and Christmas as well. You could wait and do it like splash the ink first and then add it, but you know what I did? I finished, like I was working on my card, I glued down my greeting, and then I was like, it needs something else. And that's when I decided to splash the ink. And then I looked at my card and I could see how my Mary had a little bit of green ink on it. And I thought, you know what, I actually kind of like that. Kind of like it being a little bit like Christmas got splashed with a little bit of green ink, right? Okay, I'm just kind of maneuvering this into place. Stick down there. And then let me grab my Mary. You can also use adhesive sheets. If you put them on the back of your cardstock before die cutting, then you don't get glue all over your fingers like me. But I was playing around and experimenting, so you know, sometimes you do things in an order that might not always be what you would do if you were going to do a lot of these cards. All right, I've got my Merry and my Christmas down. Now, what you probably should use is, I've got a work surface. This is actually vinyl, so I can splash on here and wipe off. But if you were doing this at home and you didn't have a nice work surface that you could wipe off, I would recommend putting down a piece of computer paper, newspaper, something like that in the background. And then I'm going to take my Just Jade ink pad. It's kind of like a medium green. And earlier, I squeezed some Just Jade ink refill onto the lid. And let me see. Shoot. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to fill. Oh, I might have enough in here. Okay, I've got a little bit of water left in my water painter. Ooh, ooh, I opened it up and I splashed. Okay, not quite ready for the splashing yet. Okay, so, okay, the water was sitting there. Okay, so I want a little bit of ink and I want my lid. And I'm going to splash off of my lid. I'm grabbing some more ink here. I'm flicking off of my lid onto my Merry Christmas. Okay. And you could also do like bigger drops too. Oop. I'm worried at how big that drop is going to be. Let's drop it down here. Come on. I'm going to flick it. There we go. All right. I think that's enough flicking. When you're done, you can just squeeze your aqua painter and get rid of the ink off of the brush so that it's ready to use with a different color. Okay, and I'll clean off my lid. I'm going to rinse this under some water later, just so I can get the rest of the ink out of there so it doesn't stain my brush. Okay, let's just clean up my work surface a little bit so I don't look like I've been grinched. Okay, let's move that out of the way. So isn't that pretty? It got a little bit of fun stuff happening. All right, so then we're going to take our card base. I'm just going to let this dry for a second. And this is just a piece of crumb cake cardstock, and it's 11 by 4¼ and scored in half at 5½. And last night, to save a little time, I already embossed these. And what I actually did, because I was making 2 cards, I took a strip, these measure 3¼ by 5, but I made these 1½ inches wide. And then I ran them through the embossing folder, and then I cut them in half so they were 3/4 inches wide. And that's just the perfect size for this greenery pattern, just in case you're interested. It's just like it kind of just fits perfectly 2 stripes of the plant. So then I'm just going to take this, add some Tombow to the back, and the key with this is you want it to be crooked. It's so hard. So I'm just going to kind of lay this down a little bit. I might need to shift it a little bit. And then I'll take my red one. I might need to move this just a bit. The embossing on the back allows it not quite to stick all the way down. So I'm going to just shift it just a little bit. I'm trying to recreate the pattern that I have. Okay, this one needs to be more like, you already could see I was angling the wrong direction, right? It's so hard to be crooked, right? So hard. Okay. And then I'm going to add Bumblebee. I've got a little bit of extra glue there. And then finally Shaded Spruce. So I've got Real Red Just Jade Bumblebee and Shaded Spruce. Who would have thought that these colors would look nice together? They're kind of not really colors that I would normally have thought to put together. Okay. All right, that's going to be the way it is. Um, it's not quite symmetrical from side to side, but that's not the point of this card. We're not supposed to be symmetrical, right? Okay, I've got to get over that fact. So let's add this piece on here, and let me grab some dimensionals, and I uh, have a sheet of the leftover, this was leftover from the mini dimensionals, and I kind of cut the edges so that I would have some extra dimensional pieces, because may as well use the edges too, right? So I just kind of cut into it. So I'm going to use the leftovers from there, and then I'll peel them off. I know it looks terrible. I usually leave the that for my personal stamping. I don't usually use these for my lives because they don't look so pretty, but you can use the edges too, right? You can definitely. Okay, so if I want to make these cards line up, I'm just kind of measuring. Lift up. I do want this to be straight, and I do want it centered. This layer has to be straight in my mind, because if it's not, then you've just lost all control. Chaos. All right. Okay, so now I created a little bow earlier with some linen thread, and I'm just going to put some glue on the knot. I'm going to put this up here. And I'm just holding my finger on that knot for a second so it gets a chance to like become one with the paper. All right. And then I have some gold glitter enamel dots. I have 3 left. Last night I had 6 of these, and I'm like, why do I have so few of these left? Like, but now I get to use up the whole package, which makes me feel really happy for some reason. I had like 1 big one and 2 smaller ones left, and I was like, yeah, this needs to. Where's my take your pick tool? Everything's far away from me this morning. Come on, you. Okay, I actually like to use my pointer end better than I do the take your pick end, just because I use my my piercer tool for so long, so I'm more used to that. So I'm gonna stick, oh, where'd you go? I'm gonna stick this here, on here, and come here, and, okay, this one's the right way up, okay, and then one more tiny dot, and then I will have used up all of, okay, I'm gonna use the picky side, and it works really well. It's just, you know, you get used to something and then you can't deal with a new thing. All right. Okay, so I've got those all, and look, I can throw my sheet away. Maybe I should put this in the recycling, this piece. I'll do that. Okay, so that is my card. Look at that. Isn't that crazy and wild? That's a crazy wild card for me. I don't usually do too much crooked and splashing about, but look at that. It's pretty, right? I think it's kind of fun. What do you think? Are you going to make this card with the weird strips on the back? Are you? Oh, all right. Oh, okay. Amy has some advice for us. To do crooked, think like a kindergarten student, free form. You're right. They are not, they're just like, let me stick that down, right? Yeah, that's a really good. You have to put your kindergarten hat on in order to do it. I just, to me, I try to control it too much. I'm like, I need to have it so it looks like this way. It's so hard. My brain just fights it all the way, but that's what Casing Tuesday is good for, is like for trying something new and for giving yourself the allowance to do that, because or the permission to do it, because a lot of times if I would design a card like that and look at it, I go, that's just wrong. But because it was already a card in the catalog, I feel like it has a certain amount of scrutiny before it was allowed to be in the catalog. So some people must like that card. So even if it's a card that I wouldn't normally design, it's good for me to push myself out of my comfort zone. Otherwise, I would just design the same card over and over again, right? The same type of card. So it is good. It is good to splash around a little bit, put some layers a little crooked. It's not going to kill us, right? It's just a card. We don't have to look at it forever, right? You know, we send it in the mail or we put it in our pile. It's not going to be on our wall forever, right? So that's a good thing. So we've got some weather situations. Amy's got damp and drizzly. Beverly has snow. Today we have sun, but we're supposed to get rain on Christmas, which just isn't good. You know, then just send us snow, just freeze up that stuff because we don't want rain. But we have a lot of snow on the ground right now, so it might actually be a white, wet Christmas. Yeah. which given the way 2020 is gone, that's probably just what it's gonna be, right? Janine says, your control comments always crack me up. And for the record, the struggle is real. Yes, it's very real. Very real. And good morning, Mary. I'm so glad you're here. Well, I hope you all have a wonderful Christmas. I know it's not the Christmas we expected or we wanted, but let's just go with it, right? You know, I've got family that can't be close by. We managed to have our son here, which I'm very grateful for. Not everyone will be able to do that. So I'm happy that we can have a Christmas for three. So let's count our blessings, right? We're going to try and do a Zoom with my mom on Christmas Eve and maybe get my sister involved too. So we'll see if we can pull that off. And then we'll try and do one with my parents-in-law as well. And just so we can try and connect with them. It is not ideal, but hopefully there's a lot of hope in 2021. We've got a vaccine coming to all of us hopefully very soon, and hopefully we can hug each other again, and let's just try and be really safe this Christmas if you can, you know, so that we don't get sick and we don't make others sick, and then let's hope for brighter things in 2021, right? Yay. And don't forget, I will be here next week with Nicholas. Yes, Nicholas is coming. I mentioned at the beginning of the video, so don't forget about that. If you like anything that I do, if you need to purchase Stampin' Up supplies, if you purchase them for me, you can get one of my tutorials for free. These are paid tutorials that I offer free with a purchase. And my one that I have, my most recent one is the drawers one. So if you're still looking for a fun little Christmas gift idea, the main thing that you need for this is a scoring board. You don't need, like I did use these square dies on top, but you could also just cut your layers. So this is not something that you need a lot of fancy tools for. You do need a scoring board. You will need some paper and some ribbon and cardstock, but this is something that you don't need to, like, right now. If you order from Stampin' Up, you won't get your stuff before Christmas, but you could definitely still do this and earn one of these tutorials for free. So this is a really fun. I love drawers. They're so much fun, right? So cute. And you can put like little candy in there and stuff. So that is one of my tutorials coming up. What else can I tell you? If you're not on our Facebook group, please join that. It's down below, our Casing Tuesday Facebook group. And I won't be doing a tutorial on Friday because it's Christmas, and no, you probably don't want to watch me on Christmas. And also I want to be with my family on Christmas. So I won't be doing one on Friday, but check back with me next Tuesday on Facebook, and that's where I'll be. I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.